Would you go on a Netflix dating show as a contestant?
Ooh. No.
Flynn Rider does it when he goes like,
Oh, like, oh,
Oh yeah.
oh, that's a good question. American Psycho.
oh, that's a problem. This is time sensitive. Can you name 3 consecutive days without using the words Wednesday, Friday, or Saturday? Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock,
3
tick tock, tick tock, tick
consecutive
tock, tick tock,
days.
tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Are you still there? To delete the message, press 7.
Ken, welcome. We're not gonna waste any time. If you guys want to know who the man, the myth, the legend Ken Jee is, go ahead and stop by his channel to discover what kind of dominant YouTuber he is today, right after this video. Ken, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Today, we're gonna have 3 different types of questions. The very first type of question, I'm gonna have a lightning round and just have whatever comes to the top of your mind as snappy as possible to get to know who you are, the secrets of Ken Jee. The second type of question is gonna be wholesome questions about how you learn data science, how you create data science materials on YouTube. And then finally 3, we're gonna go over some bad FANG questions. Some questions like, why is a manhole round? And other crazy questions like how many light bulbs fit in the Sears Tower. Just fun ways of how you would be able to dissect and go through how these questions would be answered.
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds like a great time to me. Hopefully I can help people understand my background. People can grow from the things that I've learned, and we'll hopefully have some fun with a couple of these different questions here. What was that?
Ken, you know what that means.
No, I literally don't.
That's the sound that we're gonna have our first type of question, the lightning round. Ken, would you go on a Netflix dating show as a contestant?
Ooh. No.
No. I was gonna ask what your catchphrase would be if you did say yes.
I would consider going on The Bachelor or something, but the Netflix dating shows, I think they have too many constraints. Like, you can't see the people. You have to be like really dumb. There's a lot of things that I don't know. I do. A friend of a friend has gone on one though, and they became Instagram famous from it. So
Nice.
If I wanted to pursue clout full time, I'd probably consider it. But I don't think I want to pursue clout full time.
You heard here, he's a part-time clout chaser. Ken, can you please give us your best smolder if you were on The Bachelor?
What's a smolder again? Sorry, I know nothing except for data science.
That's fine. A smolder is kind of like, if you've watched Tangled, Flynn Rider does it when he goes like,
Oh, like, oh,
Oh yeah.
that was it?
the
Oh,
camera's
wow.
over there.
Perfect. So, what was the last gift you gave someone?
Oh my goodness. I bought my dad some papaya last time he was here. I don't know if you consider that a gift, but
That's a beautiful gift. Why did
Yeah.
you give him papaya?
he told me to go to the store and buy him some. But he told me to go to the store and buy him some previously. I did this out of the goodness of my heart the next time I was there and saw some on the shelf. So
You heard it here. Ken Jee loves his parents and buys his parents fruit.
Yep, that's the way to a man's heart is through fruit.
Hey, Ken Jee, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Ooh. I'd like to be myself. I kind of like my life right now. It's pretty good. Maybe a slightly better YouTuber.
Better at YouTubing. Awesome. Which 2 organizations outside your own do you know the most people at and why?
Like companies?
Yeah, companies, let's say.
Oh, that's a good question. I used to know quite a few people at the PJ Tour. I interned there, and I had a couple good friends that went through there. I also know quite a few people on YouTube now through a lot of different collaborations. So I think that slightly unorthodox in terms of organization, loosely defined, but that is where.
Beautiful. The YouTube community is growing fast thanks to people like you. What's your favorite 90s jam?
Is Wake Me Up Before You Go Go by Wham a 90s jam, or is that 80s? I think it came out in 1990.
Why do you like that song?
I mean, it slaps.
It slaps. You heard it here. Ken, if you could be any animal in the world, what animal would you be and why?
It's a good question. Probably some sort of like great white shark or apex predator in the ocean. I just think that that's pretty badass.
That is pretty cool. Being able to swim is like flying in the water.
In water, yeah.
Would you be Spider-Man or Batman?
Spider-Man. You gotta have superpowers.
Gotta have superpowers. Who would win, Spider-Man or Batman?
That's a tough question. I think Spider-Man would probably win because Spider-Man's not like an idiot. He's a pretty smart guy too. So it depends which Spider-Man. If you're talking like Tom Holland Spider-Man, probably not. If you're talking Into the Spider-Verse Spider-Man, also probably not. But like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, maybe. Was he that strong? I can't really remember. Maybe symbiote Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire. He'd have a lot better shot.
That's quite a lot of Spider-Man knowledge you got for only knowing data science.
It's true.
All right, that's the sound that we are going to move on to the next type of question. Wholesome questions about your life as a YouTuber. You've answered this question in many different interviews. I had to do a little bit of research, but tell me exactly, in the shortest way possible, like maybe 2 sentences or so, why did you start YouTube? What inspired you?
Well, I came into I came into data science from consulting and from a business background, which was a fairly non-traditional route. So I knew that there were not resources on making that transition. And I thought, who better than myself to actually create the content that I wish I would have had when starting out. I also had some, longer than 2 sentences, but I also had some initial success. The first video I posted to YouTube was part of a project that I did for some of my graduate coursework. And it ended up being, wildly successful, more successful than I thought. I think I got 1,000 views after like 5 months, which to me at the time, I was like, oh my goodness, people are interested in this. And that early win was something that really inspired me to keep going and to try doing that more. I also realized I really liked putting that presentation together. So why not keep it up until someone says something really mean and I quit. So
Yeah. We pray that never happens. Are you a kind of like a movie person, a Netflix watcher? What movie or TV show out there best inspired your aesthetic that you're trying to capture in your educational content? If your channel was a TV show or movie.
Oh, that's a good question. American Psycho.
Oh, that's a problem.
I'm kidding. I don't know. Maybe like Good Will Hunting.
Oh,
I'm not that much of an asshole. I mean, he's not that much of an asshole in the movie, but he's a little full of himself. Hopefully I'm not that full of myself. And I'm also definitely not that smart.
When you first started out YouTubing, were you embarrassed to tell people what you did?
I do not think I was. I just really wouldn't talk about it unless it was a natural turn in the conversation. I mean, it's not something I do full time even now, so I rely on my other work for that story. But it is something unique and kind of fun that I do to express myself. And I think that if the time is right, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's just another way of sharing information, especially now where everyone has an Instagram, everyone has a Twitter, and people are constantly sharing information. To me, it's no different, except that my content is a little bit more structured and hopefully providing just a little bit more value to people.
Got it. You mentioned that you didn't see people making the content you wanted to see, so you started making it yourself. Who was the closest vlogger or YouTuber or personality that you looked up to before you started creating, and who is it now?
So I really didn't watch quite as much YouTube as I do now. I didn't actually watch any. I'd seen a couple of Joe Matex videos. I enjoyed those, but that was still more entertainment for me than it was than it was related to my specific use case. I mean, he came from a highly technical background already. I did not. I really like Krishnak's channel as well, but I think by the time I heard about him, I'd already started producing content. But it's still something that I really got a lot of inspiration from. Also, Code Basics, I take a lot of inspiration from his work as well. And Krishnak and Deval from Code Basics are good friends of mine now. I think there are a lot of really great channels out there that I probably saw videos from, and I didn't realize like at the time that they were like content creators. Like the whole content creation space is very new to me even now, but it's been really fun to navigate, and hopefully I'm making a reasonable impact in it.
People are probably very curious the cost benefit of YouTubing, right? So a data scientist's time is valuable. If you could go back and do something else, what would you do if you weren't doing YouTube to compensate for the value that it gives you in terms of community, in terms of belonging, in terms of actual revenue?
So if people are looking for revenue, I would almost never recommend going into YouTube. I mean, even now, from ad revenue, from whatever I do, I probably make a fifth of what I make in my real-time job, right? It's not something that I do specifically for revenue. A little revenue is nice, and I invest pretty much everything I make back into my channel in forms of new equipment, whatever that might be. But it took me, 60, 70 videos, a year of work. We're talking, 100 hours behind a camera, and way more than that editing to make even a single dollar. I would not think of this as a revenue stream to start with. It is an incredible way to build community and express yourself, and I don't think I could replace that with anything else. Especially now where I can't really go to meetups or build a community in any other way. I 100% would not trade this experience for anything. I mean, you could probably give me a couple $1 million right now and I wouldn't give it up, just because I love doing this. And I'm not personally very driven by money at all. Money is a huge means to an end for me. And what I do like is new experiences, meeting new people, and having individual freedoms, which YouTube and my work have done 100% for me. So, I'm out here, in my personal opinion, living my best life. If I had to do something else and I could get paid for it, I would probably do some more data science contracting, or maybe try and build a couple different products, or really get into a data science project. I'm working on a stock trading bot with another YouTuber, Jake Amaral, right now. Mm-hmm. And those are types of things I love doing. And it's fun because if you're partnering or doing with community, that's always really rewarding. But fortunately, I can do those things now as well.
I think there's so much good content here. I don't know what to put as a teaser, like your Smolder or like, I think the videos that I randomly start watching is how much YouTubers make. This is a gutsy question. Since you said you don't care about being revenue driven, can you reveal that? Or just the figures of your AdSense, so I can maybe put that on the thumbnail?
Yeah, I mean, I make like $50 a day, about, give or take. Some days it's more, some days it's less. Again, compared to what I make as a data scientist, that is nickels and dimes.
Awesome, we got him. That's a great perspective on life. And speaking of people in your life, I would say commenters and the YouTube community are a big part of a YouTuber's life. And your community is very positive, very wholesome and loving messages inside the comment section. Can you tell me, what is your best comment that you've ever received?
So it got caught in the filtering, and I haven't approved it, but someone was basically asked in less polite terms how many girls data scientists get. And I just think that is such a funny question if you would consider going into a career because of that. The answer is the same amount as any other career. It just really depends more on the person. So I just think that was really funny. I mean, there's no real comment that I could single out. Every time someone tells me that my videos, my content has been helpful to them, has helped them get a job, which there have been a couple people who have been like, hey Ken, I recently got this job. Your videos helped me at least in some area. I will never take credit for getting someone a job. That is 100% you're doing. But if I have any part of that feeling to me that I was able to help in any way is absolutely incredible. And that's why I do this in general. It's just to be able to share that experience, be able to hopefully help someone land a job in a career that has been great for me and that I've really enjoyed.
Gotcha. And on the same vein, what do you do about nasty or negative commenters? Do you ever get them, and how do you respond?
So I try to respond to criticism. If someone doesn't like something I do, I'll either say, hey, look, I'll try and do it better next time, or I will, agree to disagree type of thing. I think that people are 100% entitled to their own opinion. And if they don't like me, they don't like something about my videos, I would want to know, right? Because that helps me. If they're right, that makes me better because I can improve. Even if they don't say it in a very nice way, I can still maybe learn something from that comment. And I'm pretty sure of myself. I'm confident in what I do. I don't have any issues where if someone's mean to me, I'll take it too personally. I won't lie. It hurts when someone says something mean. But I would hope that I'm mature enough that I can look for the truth in any of these comments. And if there is something I can improve on, I can go about doing it.
That's good. In terms of improvement and maybe drawing upon past successes, blowing up is a thing on YouTube. If a video is successful, it becomes very successful and breaks a bit of a barrier of the algorithm. You've had at least one huge success, how you would relearn data science if you had to start over. Have you been trying to chase that algorithm blow up? And can you give people who are starting out, who might be complete beginners or maybe they've been trying for years, how you were able to achieve that success and how you want to recreate it?
So I don't try and chase the algorithm that much. My thought is I want to make videos that I'm personally interested in making and that I hope other people are interested in making. So what I've also found is I've made over 120 some odd videos now, and frankly, I have no clue which ones are going to do well. I could think that one is going to do incredibly well. I made one about how the YouTube algorithm works from a data scientist perspective. To me, that was one of the best videos I've ever made. It hit a lot of the keynotes for what a viral video should be, and it really didn't do that well. And that's okay. What I realized is that if I focus on producing a good amount of quality content, the results will eventually take care of themselves. If I have another video that goes really well and I hit everything and I get a lot more viewership, subscribers, whatever that might be, great. But the other side of that is I'm growing at a very steady rate still, and I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing because it's working and I'm enjoying it. I think a lot of people get disappointed, they get distressed, they get you kind of torn up a little bit because they're not seeing the results immediately. This isn't a game where you can predict when the results will come. From my personal experience, it's one of these, you have to play it, and over the long term, I think if you play it consistently and are producing good content and are trying to be authentic, you're going to have success. But I admittedly, the month or two after I had that big video, everything just kept going down. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm not good enough. I'm not producing the same content, whatever that might be. And frankly, that's just not the case. When things go off or things go really well, it's more of an anomaly. And the best thing you can do is just go back to enjoying the process, go back to creating things you're proud of and you wish you had. And I think over time that really works out.
Okay. I mean, I've definitely had my share of banging my head against the wall, tying my ego and my sense of self-worth to the very idea that my channel succeeds. That means that I must be doing good stuff. So it means a lot to hear it from your perspective.
I think should be said, one more thing should be said on that is
Yeah.
the more you grow, the more presence you have on a platform. Again, in my video where I talk about the YouTube algorithm, it's a lot easier to get scale. It's a lot easier to expand the more videos, the more content, the more things you have out there. So someone who has watched one of your previous videos is significantly more likely to get recommended one of your new videos. Or someone who's watched a video that's similar. So you have this big network effect. So the more stuff I put out there, the higher chance it is that someone stumbles onto it or gets recommended it or whatever it might be. Same thing with search. The more things you have out there, the higher chance it is that someone happens onto it and watches it. So it's about creating this critical mass of stuff to kind of spur your growth. When you have less than 50 videos probably, it's really hard to get that type of growth because the serendipity out there, the opportunities that you're giving other people to click are just not there yet. So if we're looking at this like a pure simulation, the amount of content that I have out there, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Medium where I'm linking my videos, whether it's Twitter where something can happen on a tweet, whether it's the Facebook groups that I've posted in, whether it's on Reddit if someone posts my stuff, you know, there's so many different touch points that it would be pretty hard for random people not to discover me on a day-to-day basis. So as you grow, you kind of luck into more clicks, more people, more eyeballs.
I have
And
a
LinkedIn,
bit of
I
a
forgot.
no, that you definitely addressed the question. I have a question about direction. So when I first started off my journey, I didn't really know like how to include non-data science content. And I know that you had a video about hardware. And I remember we talked a little bit about your the responses to that video where it's not exactly on brand. As a matter of fact, one of the most successful videos right now on my channel is a video about doing your haircut in the pandemic. It's very scary to be associated with something that isn't part of your brand, or at the very least show people a video that they thought they were coming to see just a haircut channel, and now if they subscribe, they get the wrong content. So what do you think about trying to branch out and try new content, but scaring your subscribers and your community?
Honestly, I wouldn't worry about that. Again, I recommend creating just the content you want to, that you find fun, that you find enjoyable, because if you enjoy it, one, that comes through in the video, but it's also a lot more likely that other people enjoy it as well. So that to me has never been a major concern. On the other side of that, if I did want to create different content, I would probably just start another channel. I've been thinking about, after I hit the 100,000 threshold, making another channel, maybe a couple different channels. Another huge part of my life is golf and being outside and also eating. And I'd love to be able to share those experiences. I think that would, again, be a Ken passion project where if people watch it, great. But I'd love to be able to document my experiences and do those different types of things and convey value in that way. I also have a huge passion for self-help and personal improvement, and I love talking about those concepts. I touch on them a little bit in interviews. I touch on them in a couple of the other videos that I do. I think I recommended a couple books, things like that. And maybe that's not a huge aberration from what I currently do, but I think it would be inauthentic for me not to share some of the other things that I think are valuable with my audience. If people don't like it, they'll let me know. and that's totally okay. You know, I mean, it might sound weird and a little bit selfish, but I'm not just making content for everyone else out there. I'm also making content for myself. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do this and make 3 videos a week or 2 videos a week, whatever it might be.
I haven't done a critical growth analysis yet, but by the time this video comes out, you are going to have 100,000 subscribers, and this is going to be awkward talking about a time that you didn't have 100,000 subscribers.
Well, I hope so. We'll see. What was that?
Do you know what that sound means, Ken?
No, what does it mean?
It means it's time for another round of questions. These kind of questions.
Oh no. Not another round of questions.
We're gonna go and move on to bad interview questions. At FANG
Alright.
companies, they had a reputation of asking only bad questions, mind teasers. They used to ask these, but they might slip them in the here and now. Do you think I can ask them to you and see how you would answer them?
Yeah, sure, why not?
This is time sensitive. Can you name 3 consecutive days without using the words Wednesday, Friday, or Saturday? Tick tock, tick tock, tick.
3 consecutive days. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Fang, he's available. He's not available, but great. That was very fast. Why are manhole covers round?
So there's 2 reasons. The first is so they do not fall into the hole. That's usually the answer that people are looking for. But if you have a triangle manhole cover, it will also not fall in the hole. So that's like a flaw in their logic there if it's an equilateral triangle. I'm pretty sure. The other reason is that circular covers are pretty easy to transport because you can roll them, and manhole covers are pretty heavy. So I've actually been asked that one before, and I made the interviewer look like an idiot with the triangle part.
Yeah, you definitely taught me something. I did not know that. Do you know? I just want to ask you more questions about why things are now. Like, why do Legos have holes in them? But I think you'll be able to answer them pretty fast. Let me ask you: are you more of a hunter or a gatherer?
Interesting. So I like controlling my own destiny, which I guess both hunters and gatherers do. But I also like pursuing something. I like the chase. I like the idea that things are a little bit elusive. On the other hand, if you think about content creation, if you think about a lot of the other actions that I do, I'm kind of gathering information. I'm building a nest egg of content that creates a sort of a law of attraction around me, where people are coming to me saying, "Hey Ken, you have this food. I'd like to learn more," or I have this opportunity, and in exchange for some of your food, whatever it might be, we could partner, and I could trade you meat for videos. But my answer is a little bit of both, but for those specific reasons. You can't ding me too hard if I give reasons for both ways.
His answer is capitalism. Awesome. Can you describe the color yellow to someone who is blind?
To someone who is blind, I would say that it's warm. Yellow is what the sun rays feel like, but through your eyes.
And if they have any follow-up questions?
I would say the exact same thing,
but louder.
Ah, yes, the loudness test. Last question. What do you think about when you're alone in your car?
I try not to think as much as I can, which sounds really weird, but I mean, that's basically what meditation is, right? So whenever I am alone, or I'm not doing anything, or I'm driving, I try to just completely zone out, which is easier said than done. But I also think a lot about the future. So some people think about the past, they think about the good things or the bad things. I never think about the past. I'm either always thinking about what I'm doing right now, or what I'm going to be doing in the next couple of days or months or years. And I think that forward-thinking bias has been one of the most valuable things to me in my life. And so I'm basically either trying to think about exactly what I'm doing right now, which is sort of thoughtless, or I'm thinking about, okay, these are the things I want to accomplish down the road. So I guess I kind of sound like a robot, but I'm trying to program myself to be a robot, but a happy robot.
Ken Jee, happy robot. I believe I can give you the job for answering all of these terrible interview questions. Thank you, Ken, so much for being here today. Do you have anything to plug or say?
Yeah, so what's your offer on the starting salary?
It's going to be $50 a day, and you have to make YouTube content 3 times a week.
Oh, I don't know. I think my YouTube ad revenue could, in theory, go up over time. So I'm going to have to decline. Or actually, I'm going to counter offer for $1 million.
Ooh, we will get HR on this and come back with a counter offer. That might be in our wheelhouse, actually. We might have the budget for Ken.
I've been doing the 66 days of data challenge. Yeah, it's not something that actually ever expires. It's something anyone can participate whenever they want. But when learning data science, when learning any of these things, to me, it's more about establishing good habits so you can do it consistently and you can, self-motivate to take action rather than sitting down for hours at a time and just picking it up. I personally was unable to do that. And I think that if you can figure out a way to be consistent with anything in your life and be held accountable by your peers or share what you're doing with your peers, you're going to find success. So I wanted to help people really maximize their potential through an initiative like this. So aside from that, I would love it if you tuned into some of my YouTube content. I talk a lot about data science. I talk about the philosophy of landing a job. I talk about some of the things you can do to really improve your chances in learning as well as in, again, that interview and job process. So thank you again for having me. I think, I had quite a lot of fun, and hopefully you can scrounge around and find some interesting answers to a couple of these questions. So.
Ken, we're including all of these answers and more, unseen answers. Join us next time. Ken and I are going to work on some projects together, working on ever increasing your ability to become a data scientist, especially through his 66 days challenge. If you want to see him grow me instead, hop over to his channel where he will be uploading the second half of our collaboration, which is my story from the ground up. Thank you guys again. This was Ken Jee. I'm Andrew from Data Leap. Peace.
Are you still there? To delete this message, press 7. To save it in the archives, press 9. To hear more options, press 0.
What are you talking about?